NASCAR on Fox is finally through with its tenure for 2024. And with it, I think a lot of fans are feeling like this.
Dobby is free.
So let's look back at this year and see what's improved and what is not, and grade how Fox did in total with at least the Cup and Xfinity series in 2024. And let's go point by point with this one. Starting out with the booth. Mike Joy, I think we need to start out with as the lead announcer, and I will say this, he is the most improved aspect of Fox this year. I think that Joy in 2023 was showing his age. He was really slowing down, making a lot more mistakes, and while those all haven't been rectified this year, he still has put a pretty admirable performance up, and in my opinion, I think he calls and announces races now like he's 10 years younger. It doesn't sound like 2023 or 24 Mike Joy. It sounds like how he would be in 2013 or 14. Again, I won't say he's necessarily has his fastball at that level anymore, but when it comes to history of the sport, chemistry in the booth, I think it's improved immensely. And it was talked about multiple times this year that having a stable booth with Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer every single week helped the booth have a little bit more cohesion. And I think that if they're able to stay together like it sounds like for another year, you'll see improvement in that regard. Mike Joy is probably, in my opinion, the spearhead when it comes to the booth not being the problem this year. The booth was the problem in years past because you'd always have somebody different, whether it be Tony Stewart or Danica Patrick, Jeff Gordon, Chad Knaus. None of them, in my opinion, are all that bad in their own right, but when you have someone just spot in and probably not be completely in the know of everything they need to be, it's going to be awkward and difficult. At one point at COTA last year, there were like 5 or 6 different people in the booth in 3 different locations. That's just asking for problems if you're not used to doing stuff remotely. And I think that with Joy being able to kind of go back to basics this year, it's really helped. And I think that if he does retire next year, I hope he retires on a really high note, because I think that with more chemistry being built up with Clint Bowyer and Kevin Harvick, that he can really start to shine as that lead announcer once more. And speaking of Clint Bowyer, I think that he was not great this year, decent, and I think he was overhated. Clint Bowyer can have his Bowyerisms that are real bad problems, where he just goes overboard on the jokes, cuts into different moments that he shouldn't, and he had plenty of those this past year, like at the Clash when there was a real heartfelt moment between Mike Joy and Kevin Harvick, and Bowyer cuts in with a joke. He learned, I think, as the season went on, and I think he improved as the season went on, and I will say this too, while many can't stand him, I really respect the fact that he can't stand some of the ineptitudes that Fox has, and over again will point out what they should be looking at. Whether they choose to or not is not Bowyer's fault. He's the one that's paying attention to the race in many aspects of the race, and I think that he should get praise for that. And then you got the newcomer in Kevin Harvick. Harvick had a great first year. I think that he gave a good, straightforward, and more serious approach to it. He might have went overboard every now and then when it came to bashing Bowyer, and I think that's stuff that'll get ironed out over the offseason and into next year, but I think for a first year, he did a damn good job. We've known for years as he'd go down to Xfinity coverage and many times lead the driver-only broadcast that he would be good, but I don't think many thought he would be as good as he was. I think he really gelled with Bowyer as they know each other. They were teammates multiple times. I think he was really good with Mike Joy. You could see the respect between the two, and I think that if that grows with him and Bowyer, you can really have a second coming of a great Fox booth. I don't think anyone is going to hit the high that Joy, Waltrip, and McReynolds hit altogether. I think that's just an unattainable mark, at least for people trying to fill in their places. But I do think that making their own kind of identity is something that can really be done between these three. And speaking of other on-air talent, in the pits and in the studio, I thought Fox did a pretty good job overall. As always, I think in the studio, having Larry Mack there while he should be at the track is definitely something that helps strengthen them and brings validity to them. But on pit road, the pit reporters this year were pretty good. Their new segments, I thought, were improvements over years past. And you could definitely tell that A year of being stable just helped everybody at the track, and the chemistry was starting to build more, which I don't think we've seen in Fox since before Darrell Waltrip retired. I think the biggest part I want to say about those pit reporters in the studio is please do not make any big shakeups before 2025. Now to the production. It was awful. I don't even know really where to start. It was just really, really bad this year. For one, it felt like an old broadcast, which Fox has really had a problem with in recent years. Fox has basically never changed. Many will point at the different problems that me or others have at Fox and say, well, come on, you didn't complain about it in 2005. Why is it a problem now? Why didn't you complain in 2011? Well, that's the problem. You need to evolve and change over time. NBC's broadcasts today are nothing like they were in 2005. And I'm sure if they'd had NASCAR in 2011, it'd be nothing like that as well. And I'm sure ESPN's broadcast, if they were to stay with NASCAR the last 10 years, would not have been anything like 2011. Look at ESPN's broadcast from 2011 to 14 compared to, say, 2007 or 8. It's a night and day difference. And Fox, unfortunately, is night and day for the wrong reason because, well, they're doing the same thing, but with more aged people and production, and it's just showing that they have not in any way adapted with the times. They've blatantly ignored action on the track when the booth would call it out. Props to Bowyer and Harvick especially for doing this, but even Mike Joy would say stuff is going on and Fox just wouldn't cut to it, even when there are plenty of cameras in the area that it happened. Most of the cutaways to either children, other fans, or just nothing at all, I think would be a little more permissible if it didn't cut away from some of the most important moments in races, like at Gateway, cutting away to 2 cameras of the same kid, or, the big example, missing the most controversial restart of the year so far at Richmond, and then having to show a replay well after the race itself. Promos covering the entire screen of different interviews that should be in the pre-race show, or during stage breaks, or like Kevin Harvick's podcast. I'm sorry, I don't want to watch Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast during the NASCAR race. There's plenty of time I have during the week to watch that, and you can do a promo as a commercial during the commercial break, if you have to do it. Obviously, it was paid to be there, might as well put it in the commercial break so it's at least not cutting into our racing. That's not a dig at Harvick or anyone on that podcast. That's just saying, come on, Fox, there are better places to put this in. Fully missing the atmosphere of the race or important moments in the race too are things that just are inexcusable by the production crew. They didn't show or really explain how William Byron won the Daytona 500, leading to a weeks-long different feud between fans as well as a controversy about who really won the race. It was Byron. Everyone who ended up seeing the replay knew it was, but the problem is that NASCAR had to show it, not Fox. When it's the biggest race of the year and clearly the one Fox cares most about, you really need to actually cover it the way it should be. And I think that was just a bad way to kick it off, even though I think Fox overall didn't start the year horribly. There's no fan noise at the track. Plenty of times you'd see Chase Elliott take the lead, or Ryan Blaney, or somebody really popular, and you wouldn't hear anything, even though you see the fans going freaking nuts. Pump the crowd noise up. You're pumping the engine noise up at different times, or the music up to overshadow the broadcasters. You might as well do that part too, so at least we can feel like we're at the track. And also, too many damn commercials, especially at Talladega. It's like every 3 laps are commercials. I know this is something that can't really be changed from the 2014 dinosaur style of broadcasting that this contract started out with, but this needs to be changed with the next deal for the next 7 years, because the way it is now, any modern viewer that doesn't like NASCAR already or doesn't watch it at least as a diehard is not going to stick around through a million Brez Tree commercials. And with that too, an example of what they could do to add atmosphere or heart, this video right here, Martin Truex Jr. finishing at Sonoma, this would have been an amazing moment to add on. It wouldn't have really changed the race itself, but it'd be something that I think a lot of fans could remember back on as a funny memory. And now to the lower series. Xfinity, I'm going to be honest, it was run-of-the-mill. Nothing really changed. Adam Alexander is solid, and I think he really kept a lot of the booth and the broadcast as a whole together. But Trucks and ARCA was a crime against humanity. Abhorrent quality, whether it be video quality, audio quality, or quality of talent too. Terrible cuts, poor timing, and just lack of care going on for it, especially Trucks. In the booth, again, Phil Parsons, he's been there forever. I don't think that needs to change, but Michael Waltrip, he's obsessed with Daniel Dye and Tim Duggar. I think I heard their names during the broadcast more than I heard guys like Christian Eckes or Ty Majeski. And Jamie Little, I'm not going to hate on her. I'm just going to say she is not cut out to be a play-by-play announcer. She is great on pit road, but some people just don't have that personality. And I'm not saying that I do by any means, but you got to get somebody who's a bit better cut out for it, whether it's Adam Alexander or just somebody you pull off the street from a lower level, whoever it might be. You got to get somebody better if you really actually do care about this series, seeing how they have it for the next 7 years still. And kind of closing out, I just want to say this broadcast got worse as the year went on. And it was sad because I think it did start out at least solid. Maybe a B-, C+ kind of broadcast that went down as the year continued. They wasted a relatively good start, and it's pretty clear that Fox does not care about NASCAR. They treat it as a joke regularly. They always cut the stuff we don't want to see. They do things that make the broadcast worse, both for those presenting it as well as the fans at home, and they only really market Daytona and Talladega. They're cutting Race Hub this week as this video is being put up, and they slashed the employee roster in Charlotte covering NASCAR by at least 150 employees, who unfortunately now are out of a job come probably Tuesday. Overall, my grade for Fox this year is a D-. There are faint signs of life, and the booth barely keeps them over a failing grade, but 7 more years of this is going to be a slog if nothing changes. So with that, let me know down below, what is your grade for NASCAR and Fox in 2024? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.